Hi, and welcome to Divine Goddess Tarot. My name is Jessica, bringing in your divine messages from your goddess, who is all the facets of life. So let's go ahead and pull and see what goddesses. There's one. So we've got Yamaya, so for surrender. So we've got her, and I'm going to read these at the end. These are some new goddesses that I am unfamiliar with, so we get to learn together today. And with this new deck, so I am just loving it. I'm loving the art on this. I'm loving the feeling. The book is a little bit smaller, so the empowerment message isn't quite as long as the other one, but I am loving them. So Ayin for optimism. So I love that. So some of these names though are very new. So let's read those. In fact, let's read them now, because I want to really get a feel for these goddesses before we continue. And it's kind of been very educational to tap into some of these other cultures and their goddesses, because it's quite beneficial to see what other cultures have, as they have worshipped the goddess, they have been in balance with knowing that they must have both to be able to, well, create in a purposeful, balanced way. We've got to identify that God energy as well as the goddess. So, and that's definitely something that's missing in our culture. So, Yamaya, so I am pronouncing that correctly. She is the mother to all of the Orishas of the Yoruba religion, acting as the patron deity of flowing rivers. Orishas are sacred spirits based in West Africa, with several religions that branch out from the foundation of adopting their own versions of deities. Yamaya is strongly protective of her children, but keeps a particularly watchful eye over women, and that pertains to their health and well-being. An ancient legend, it was said that when Yamaya's waters broke, a great flood covered the earth to create rivers and streams, as well as the first mortals. Yamaya floods your perception with the importance of surrender. It is said that when you clutch a handful of water, it will escape your grasp, no matter how hard you squeeze. It will always avoid imprisonment. However, if you lessen your grip, you will experience the full potential of elegance that lie within your power. Yamaya calls on you to take this ideal and employ it within your own reality. Attempting to control every little moment around you will diminish the experiences you are meant to enjoy, making it impossible to comprehend the messages therein. The universe contains so many gifts for us, but in order to acquire them, sometimes we must relinquish control. Trust that the divine has your best intentions in mind and surrender to the current. So I love that, and we're going to, of course, define these messages more with tarot. I'm going to read Ayin as well for optimism, because I feel that by perhaps explaining this will give us a clearer viewpoint of where the goddesses are taking us also with tarot, even though tarot's pretty definitive on its message. So let's do Ayin for optimism. So she is right here. Anya. Okay, so I am pronouncing that wrong. So her name is Anya. Among the most powerful deities of Irish mythology, Anya, the Celtic goddess of love, fertility, and protection, she rules over the summer months and is said to be the essence of independence, taking lovers whenever she so desires. Oh, I like her already. Despite the reverence she inspires, a number of legends recount the abuse and violence aimed at her. One of the most famous of these tales relates how King Illum attacked her, only for the goddess to bite off one of his ears in revenge. Since Celtic tradition dictated that only an unblemished person could be king, the loss of his ear meant that he was forced to forfeit his rule, forever associating Anya with the ability to grant power and sovereignty. Anya approaches you from her realm bearing the gift of optimism. Everyday life for Celtic women was fraught with violence and heartache. They were often tasked with defending their homes by themselves when the armies were away, leaving many vulnerable to cruelty. Have you felt as if you simply cannot seem to win no matter what you do? Does your present circumstances feel overbearing and insurmountable? Anya understands your hardship and places her hand on your shoulder to remind you that hope will always rise upon the horizon, even when the darkness might feel overwhelming. The light of the summer sun will always shine that much brighter. I love this because in a time that women were not supposed to be that strong or have their say or their words or their choice or be defiant, it was just not a thing. And so when you hear these goddesses or goddess in human form actually do something that was very strong and bold in a time where women didn't have a say, it's very empowering for us even now. And even if you identify with a masculine role, it's a part of yourself too, your goddess self, of speaking out, being your own voice, being heard into your own truth. And so I feel that that's truly the message for today. And we're going to define that more with tarot and see what messages come through. So we've got the Hierophant. So already we've got, sometimes these structures, sometimes they can be religious structures, they can be government structures that keep us in line, and they don't necessarily match our own voice, our own perspective, our own viewpoints on things, our own truth. And so we've got the Five of Wands here. So definitely there is fighting and conflict within our own ability to be our truth. So we've got Five of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Eight of Pentacles, bottom of the deck, Six of Wands. Alright, yes, Eight of Cups, bottom, Queen of Pentacles, and one more of that one, the Two of Pentacles. So this is definitely something that is in our world, our realm, something tangible in the presence. And I'm almost thinking that this has something to do with someone's job. Now, remember, anything that is being said, if the storyline of what this energy is doesn't necessarily resonate with you, put it on the top shelf, and then find the gems that you know are some truths for your life. So what I'm hearing in this reading is that this has something to do with perhaps the workplace, that someone is not necessarily being able to speak up. They're feeling very confined to whatever the form is. There's a lot of turmoil here. There isn't some flow when it comes to the workplace. If it's politics, I'm not sure, but you'll know what this is. And it could be just surrendering to something new, a new idea, or you're feeling like you have to keep your head down and just do the job. And that could be it, surrendering to the situation of the things you don't have control over, instead of being in this constant turmoil of fighting against it. And it's not saying that you can't be your own voice, but there is some balance here between knowing if this is something that is going to serve you in the long run. There is the Five of Cups and Eight of Cups. I mean, there's walking away. These are I'm feeling emotions about something, but perhaps it is truly getting clear on what you want to create in your life and your passion. You've been working hard for so long, and now I feel that perhaps there is this new optimism of doing something new, of going your own way, or speaking up at your workplace, and really just being your truth and doing it in a way that I'm seeing as balance. You've got to get that with these cups, that they're walking away, they're not seeing it. You've got to get clear on the emotions before you move forward with that. But balancing that aspect of yourself. If you are at a job and you also have something on the side, I'm also hearing that balance is really key here. Sometimes we've got to do a job before we can really move into what we want. And it is about the attitude and what we can learn where we're at, that perhaps we don't want to be. We don't want to be in that place. So we have to kind of surrender the fact that we are. And so what I'm hearing is that with this surrender, see the optimism that is there for you. And with these goddesses' assistance, they are encouraging you to get really clear on what you want. The Wheel of Fortune is here. You have the ability to create what you want. It is truly a mindset. And perhaps it's eliminating old belief systems or old ways of being, or busting through these things that are set up for us that we've been in for so long. It's time to, like, my dad has worked at this job for 40 years and I must worked at this job for 40 years. No, like, reinvention is really key. To always be reinventing ourselves. And success does not mean being at a job for 40 years, unless you define that as success. Because if that's your definition of success, then you've made it, right? If you are not happy with where you're at and you're doing the work, there's definitely some contemplation of walking away from something. There's other cups there. And perhaps it's getting your resume out and dusting that off and seeing what options are out there. So I'm also feeling with the Queen of Pentacles is this is real compassionate to what you're creating. And that if you've gone this far with this career path or this choice and it hasn't been everything that you wanted, to give yourself that this has not been wasted time. This has been time for you to really learn what you want to do next. And I want to clarify this just a little bit more. As far as more of a future, that one right there. So Temperance. So once again, it's going to your higher self. If you don't feel like you are living your purpose, this is a time for you to really take and surrender to what is. Woo! All right, we've got the Queen of Swords. So we've got the Ace of Wands, and then we've got the King of Pentacles. So we've got the King and Queen of Pentacles. This is definitely a career path. This is definitely really getting clear on you feeling fulfilled in what you do with your work. And if it's not where you're at, then it's time for you to, with this Ace of Wands, to really go into your heart and find your spark of what you would like to do. And then consider if it means going back to school, if it means doing a trade school, if it means shifting gears a little bit for you to really live in your purpose. It's about doing that. And there's more Queen energy here of the Queen of Swords. Like this is directing those ideas of communication and implementing. And it could be just in your current job of the promotion you want. Maybe it's going in a different direction in where you're at. But doing something that stimulates you, that you feel fulfilled with, and having the optimism that you can create something different for yourself. Sometimes we get so feeling stuck where we're at that, or we're not getting the recognition for all the hard work that we're doing. And so perhaps it's that communicating what your needs are to your boss or your supervisor or to your spouse or your partner, that you want something more, and perhaps creating a way for you to do that in your life, and getting that creative spark of an idea of going, well, what do you want to do? What would you do if you could pick whatever you wanted, so that you felt like you weren't going to a job every day, but you were doing something that you love. And that is the road for truly manifesting what you want, is that you live in your passion, you live in your heart, you live in your place of purpose. So I love this very much. Let's do one more message from the goddess. And right there, you have to keep breaking your heart until it opens. And so I like this because what this is telling me is that surrendering to perhaps letting go of something that isn't working, and it doesn't, maybe you loved that thing for a really long time, and when we move into something new, we sometimes have to mourn that old life or the old idea or dreams that we thought we had with this, that it was going to go in that direction. So perhaps that is what you get to do at this time, is just keep the optimism there of what you get to create, and do different or communicate in your life to get what you want back from the action that you're doing in either your job or your career or anything that you have as far as passion. So I'm seeing it's more pentacles here. You can also see and grab what little light there is for what works for you, and applying that into your life. So stay open, stay in surrender, and keep that beautiful optimism. The Wheel of Fortune is here. You have everything you need to create the life that you want to. So I love that you joined me today. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, and of course subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.